Welcome back once again, everybody, to the DreamHack Summer 2013 Day 1, Group Stage 1. We're nearing completion. Nathanias, 2 games left.
They both got Terrans, so I'm excited for them.
They both have Terrans. The first game we're going to be showing you is Ret, Liquid Ret, versus Property SjoW, and Terran versus Zerg. Not bad, not a bad game. Not a bad game.
No, not at all. I'm expecting some greedy play out of Ret. And at a SjoW, I feel probably, I don't know, most Terran players really haven't been deviating from the norm that much lately, aside from occasionally getting a couple of extra barracks instead of a 3rd command center, but even that hasn't become crazy popular.
Yeah, I mean, with SjoW, I really haven't seen his play style. I mean, he hasn't been in the big spotlight for a long time. He's played in some small online cups and whatnot, and I haven't had the opportunity to watch these small cups, so I have no idea what to expect from him. Zero idea. What I do know of him in the past, though, was always an aggressive player. Wasn't the fastest of players, but he was very precise with his strategies. Very clean cut. Didn't make that many mistakes. And we'll see what he's going to bring today against such an opponent like Liquid Ret.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting to see, especially starting with this map and spawning in the bottom left position of a map that is Neo Planet S. We have our red Zerg player coming in for Team Liquid. It is Ret. Getting his hands warmed up, spamming those keys. And spawning in the top right position as our blue Terran player coming in for Team Property, it is SjoW.
He is a Swedish representative, of course, here today with a banana and a tissue or a piece of paper, I'm not sure which, in front of him. I haven't seen him in the pro circuit for quite a while now. He did take a bit of a hiatus from playing StarCraft and went back to playing poker, actually, and then returned roughly just before Heart of the Swarm. And he's been playing StarCraft 2 since, but hasn't got back to quite the player we used to know him as. He used to be quite a devilish Terran, I'd like to say.
Yeah, and I think that I feel with your sentiment that not really anything crazy notable in recent times, but already it looks like he's going to be going for barracks opening. Fast gas.
Yeah,
looks like standard Reaper.
Yeah, this looks like Reaper play, most likely here, from 12-12, and pretty much it's going to be. But this basically describes SjoW's ability to play. Is that he always likes to be hands-on. I think was a very good way to describe him back in Wings of Liberty and how he used to play. Just loved to be aggressive, loved to be able to dictate how the game would go, how it would flow, rather than sit back. He never was like Cass. He was never like, somebody who sits back and just macro. He likes to be aggressive. So, a 3rd command center, even though standard for most Terrans, I wouldn't be surprised if we didn't even see that early in this game. Or at least in, throughout the series, we didn't see it all the time.
Yeah, and I do like that. Interesting to note, he's placed his barracks in such a fashion that he can quickly get an add-on after the Reaper is done if he wants to go straight for the reactor into an expansion. Pretty popular way to follow up the Reaper. We do see a good number of Terran players either choose to go for the 2nd Reaper as well, so he does have options available to him. Ret gets the scout off, though, and Ret actually opened up with gas this game, so he doesn't want to take any unnecessary risks either. Yeah,
and not just that, too. He also has the option to go super aggressive with it as well, if he dare chooses. I mean, Neo Planet S, quite a small map. Could see something coming out from him. But Ret does scout the command center coming down. There's the only one Reaper, as it was a reactor behind it, is going to make its way across the map here. Mostly this Reaper, it isn't really to do damage in terms of getting drone kills or not. It's to kind of keep tabs on the opponent and know exactly what he's doing. For example, this Reaper's going to go in, he's going to see the gas down the south side, see Zerg and speed beam mine. If he gets a drone kill with a single Reaper here, I'd be very surprised, and it looks like he is going to pick up one.
Yeah, nice pickup.
Actually gets a...
So close for a 2nd one, but nothing just yet. There's not too many Zerglings here, and the Queens weren't out to zone him. But, it's like you said, you want to get the information with the Reaper. He knows about the speed. He knows about the gas being mined. And I feel like this is kind of an interesting way to look at it because SjoW might say, okay, well, Ret, one of the more known players, he's known for being greedy. He's known for going for very overly economic styles, and he's trying to be cost-effective with this Reaper. But now when you see this kind of opening from your opponent, you say, okay, is it just speed? He did have a drone mining. Was there anything perhaps a bit more extreme that he'd be looking to get into?
I don't know. I mean, it's Ret, right? I mean, is he going to get into anything extreme here? That's, something that we wouldn't really expect from him too much. But he is capable of it, though. That's the scary part of it all. This Reaper knows by the 6-minute mark, Zergling speed is going to be done. So he either goes in, scouts for one last time, or he wants to get the hell out of there, otherwise he's going to lose his life. Look at that. Just how we kind of expecting SjoW to play. The funny thing is, though, with this armory going down, he didn't see the second gas, which is going to be very, very misleading here for Rhett, who loses an Overlord, goes in and probably says, yeah, there's a third command center down there. Great. Time to drone. But in reality, there's an armory, and we're going to be seeing Hellbats coming in. He's got no idea about it. This could be quite devastating for Rhett. He could lose multiple drones.
Yeah, and Zergling's going to put some forward pressure. He's going to see the bunker, though, and he sees the regular Hellions. Nothing that would trigger, like you said, him to believe that big aggression could be coming. He is going to start a Roach Warren, though, which is a bit more interesting to see. He's going to have the defensive capabilities to defend this.
It's just whether he has roaches out or not is the real question,
exactly.
right? How many? Where are they? But that's the nice part of SjoW's build. Because he took the gas at 12 supply and never took out of actually mining gas, he was able to afford the factory, armory, and starport at a decent time without having a second gas. So it's actually quite a nice setup, a nice build. Has a bit of mine trickery built into it as well. But we'll see if Rhett's going to fall for this, as he does have a Roach Warren and a Baneling Nest coming down. And I think we're going to see a flurry of roaches coming in here, and he's just going to go for it, I feel.
Yeah, and I mean, he's going to have to hold his attack out first, though, losing pretty much all of his Zerglings here. These Hellions now diving into the main base, and SjoW possibly going to be able to pick off a couple of drones. He's already gotten a few. Nothing game-ending or super crippling just yet, but he's going to be able to pick off a few more towards the gas. That Roach production, as you mentioned, has started. The drones going back to mine, actually get a couple of big hits here. Red needs to be a bit careful, picking out even more drones, and I feel like SjoW made those couple of Hellions pretty cost-effective. He's severely lowered that drone count for our Liquid Zerg.
He's knocked him down to 22 drones. He's got a Hellbat drop on the way. The big thing now, if SjoW wants to win this game, and to be honest, I'd almost go as far as say it's an upset, because Rhett's a Premier League player in the WCS. SjoW hasn't even qualified for Challenger League. He needs to set up a defense. Additional bunkers coming down. He saw the Roach one, he saw the Baneling Nest, but has he clicked inside upstairs that what he saw means what is coming? Because he hasn't got enough defense back at home yet, I don't think.
Well, I mean, it depends on how many Banelings he makes. If he makes Banelings, what he commits. The Hellbat's doing quite a bit of damage in the main base. Needs to be careful with that medevac. The Queens are trying to focus it down. He will be able to pick it off, but those Hellbats can actually fight pretty damn well hand-to-hand combat with those Queens. But like you said, as far as the defense goes, he does have the wall. He has the bunker behind the wall. He actually needs to put one more depot to completely close it off. But the economy that he lost, how much can he actually afford to invest into this? If there's a full supply depot wall, 6 Banelings, that's not going to touch that bunker.
I know, it's really funny because look at this assault. It's very, very silly. It's 6 Banelings and 6 roaches because he lost all his drones so early on. He hasn't got any money to actually reinforce it. So here comes a little bit of an attack. 3 depots do go down. The bunker still stands strong, and SjoW says, what was that? Brushes the dust off his shoulders and continues to land blows into the mineral lines of Red. And SjoW has taken a 20 supply lead. He's taken the game. Good game called by Red. And wow, what a surprise that was. I mean, I thought this would be a 2-0 for Red. Like straight up, straight easy.
It was definitely pretty interesting, but I like your point that you brought up about how he's going to play a little bit more towards that 2-base style, at least from experience with his previous games. Rhett, maybe not anticipating that so much. He did go for the Roach one. He did get the Baneling Nest. Was it based off of the assumption that maybe he was going to go for the 3rd command center? Yeah. Maybe he wanted to drone the 3rd up and then get those out? So many questions, but even then I think it started with those Hellions doing so much damage. A little bit of just the tiniest sloppy mistake from Rhett can cost you the game like that when those Hellions dive in.
That's right, man. You've got to be so careful. I mean, Hellions darting in, Hellbats flying in, mine making their way through, whatever it is. Rhett, though, look at that face. That's not a face you see too often from him. Looking kind of, I don't know how to describe that. He's kind of angry yet focused, yet tired. Like, a bit of everything in there by Rhett.
Yeah, you definitely see on his face he wasn't anticipating losing that game.
Yeah.
At least not in the fashion that it happened. So I think the next map probably not going to be as small. I think we have actually Star Station lined up. So if Rhett wants to play a bit more of his standard greedy play, he's going to be able to do that. Maybe he'll be able to not get the gas as early. Of course, there still could be a Reaper play in that regard, but he's going to be more in his element, I think, on a map where it's a bit more difficult to get those Hellions in that easily.
Difficult to get the Hellions in, but easier to get Hellbats in because there's so many ways around the main base. There's a lot of dead space, and especially because the usual third base that a Zerg player is going to take, or any player on this map is going to take, is in that triangular position that points to the middle of the map. We've seen players like MVP who opens Hellbats, 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 and then with a couple of Hellbats Marauders finish off that third hatchery, and the game's over right there and then. So Red's going to have to be very careful. It showing some dangerous form here. Like, really dangerous.
And I like that he has, you kind of saw a methodical plan for the build. He had the Hellbats going. He made sure to get his wall set up in the back. The counterattack wasn't going to be able to do anything at all from the moment that he first sent the Hellbats out. He knew, okay, well, I'm going to be safe against anything because he's going to have to at least keep the Roaches or the Queens back to defend. And if he doesn't, I'll kill enough drones that he can't make enough to kill me anyway. And, well, that's pretty much what we saw in game number 1.
That's what we saw. Will we see the repeat of that coming into game number 2 now as we do load into Star Station? As we'll see how this is going to go down.
Yes, we will. And spawning in the top right position as our Red Zerg player, possibly not really anticipating how that first game would have went. It is our Liquid Zerg. It is Rhett. Here we have our shot of our other player, our Terran, who did take game number 1. Spawning in the bottom right position as our blue Terran. From Team Property, it is SjoW.
He's got a Coke to share with somebody.
Oh. Don't you wish you had someone to share a Coke with you, Apollo?
Well, funny you say that. Funny you say that. There seemed to be a YouTube video that went online the other day when a nice little girl offered me a Coke.
Did you ever get it, though? Did you?
No, that's the funny thing, not yet.
Yeah, well, there you
actually,
go.
she was here before and she disappeared without giving it. I don't know why.
Well,
I've got to get a pic with my bottle of Coke.
Well, maybe SjoW can hook you up. Maybe he can commit and actually go through with it, though.
But does he have the bottle that says my name?
I'm sure there's a lot of Sharpies in the area.
You can edit it.
It's the thought that counts, and I think that kind of pattern of thinking is going to play a big part in this game as to whether or not Rhett can stay cool, or SjoW can even get a mental advantage just being a bit more pumped up. He might just play better this game, saying, hey, I actually probably not favored to win this match, but I took game number 1. I'm on a map where I can still kind of go for this greedy play. He's going to go for the fast command center, and I feel like this is a sign that he is definitely confident because this is a map where he could have easily opened Reapers.
That's right, and Star Station's a great map for them too. Both of these players have opened up their group stage with an initial win, even though SjoW's was a walkover, if I'm not mistaken. The Zerg player from Sweden, Vicious Pony, a deadly name. I think because he's already got 0-3-0-6, and this is only the second game of the group stage, so I think he's got walkovers throughout the rest of the games. So SjoW had a walkover in game 1, but Rhett did beat his other opponent, Shadowlock from Sweden, a Terran player from Sweden. So both these players sitting at 1-0 apiece. If Rhett gets that free win, that's 2-0. So Rhett basically, if he wins this, he goes 3-0 and takes the group. SjoW, on the other hand, though, wins this, he's definitely making it through and challenges that first place from Rhett.
And the seeding and of course play a much larger role as we move into the later group stages. So at the very least, you're playing for position, and that could also be another thing, that Rhett is pretty comfortable in the group right now. Might not be as concerned about the results of this match. He will of course want the better seeding, want to put on a good show, but well. All
right, let me do this. Let me just rip off a couple of names that went first place. And then if you finish second place, because right now in this game there's nothing too much happening, if you finish second place, these are potential opponents tomorrow. Violet, Pig, Thorzane, Daishi, Arthur, Huck, Stardust, Daisy, Gummyho, Jadong, Sting, Sortov, Squirtle, Snoot. It doesn't stop. These players are incredible, and if you finish in second place, there's a very high chance that you're playing one of those. Do you want that? Do you want that?
Well, I mean,
no is the question. Is the answer?
If you got a death
wish.
wish.
You don't want to play them. Not yet. Not yet. Not in group stage 2. Maybe group stage 3. Not group stage 2.
Yeah, I mean, it's a fair point. It's still pretty late though, and I feel that at the very least, despite not maybe wanting to play against those guys, SjoW wants to make sure he's going to get out of this group. So I feel like mentally speaking, he sees this as a much bigger game than Rhett does, since he has not yet secured advancement out of this group. And I mean, as far as this game's going, though, Paulo, it looks like both players actually opening up pretty standard. We do have slightly earlier gas than you might expect from Rhett.
Yeah, I mean, I'm actually looking at SjoW's build here. A bit of an old school, typical SjoW thing to do here. There's a couple of things he could do. The armory coming down kind of shows us what he's going to do, but I guess he could have gone for a Banshee, I was going to say. But with the armory coming down with the second gas, he's absolutely going for his Hellbat drops. Makes perfect sense for this map. And I would actually love the addition of Marauders behind this. As mentioned before, I think it's really good. But look at that. The Overlorders already spotted it. Very, very fast scout there by Rhett, and he even goes in again. He goes, seen it once, seen it twice, it's still there. Time to prepare. Ba-ba-bum-ba-bum.
And when you know about that attack coming, that is so important. I think, interesting to note though, going for the Starport before the armory, is this a situation where maybe because you have to wait to actually start the Hellbats, you're not gonna, if you're not sure if you want to drop the Hellions, do you go for a fast Viking or something to be able to start clearing out the Overlord so that your drop isn't quite as easy to spot?
Well, that's definitely an option. Absolutely is an option. But in this case, it is a Medivac coming across that's getting boosted right towards the main base of his opponent, and the Hellbats aren't even close. I mean, the Hellions, sorry. So the Hellions need to skedaddle over there, get in the Medivac if he wants to make this work, and get in the main base.
And these Queens actually spot pretty much all of this, putting a bit of pressure at the front area of the creep. And Rhett's actually really pushing that creep this game. He's right on top of these creep tumors. They're going everywhere. Lair on the way. Baneling Nest just getting all of his tech. And this is looking a bit more like standard Rhett. He is getting that Roach Warren, though.
He is getting that Roach Warren. And a couple of Banelings here to defend. They're actually not too bad against the Hellbats. Actually quite good, in all honesty. But, looks like there's a couple of drones here on the third base. SjoW says, I'm going to tag these 1, 2, 3, 4, and they're all going to go. No, actually, they're just 3. Wait. Nope, 4. Gets 4. And this is not the end of this, as he drops in the main base too. But this one, this is defended. I surely can't lose drones here.
Yeah, he has the Spine and the Spore with the Queen. The Hellbats drop, but not really onto anything. The Banelings immediately clean that up. The Hellions got a bit of a scoop and score on the third base with those drones. Actually going to dive in again, maybe able to get at least 3 more so far. And he's actually been doing pretty damn well with this Hellion harass. He's losing them, of course, but as far as the drone count goes, he's keeping it even enough that he's not getting a huge advantage, despite the fact that SjoW has been getting his third command center much later than we often see from Terrans.
In all honesty, if you don't lose the Medivac, and you lose Hellions or Hellbats, and you don't do anything, it doesn't really matter. Because if you land the next one, then you're a winner. If you miss and then you land another one after that, then you're a winner. As long as you get a good hit down, and this one's not bad, just one drone, could have been better. Boost away to the natural is probably the best idea here. But on the natural, there's already a Spore waiting.
Yeah, I really like the job that Rhett's been doing at zoning these out. He hasn't lost too much of the Hellbats, but that's where the Hellions, being able to maneuver around a little bit can be quite effective. We actually have Marauder production for SjoW. Yes. He's got quite a few Hellbats, and it looks like he wants to go for a bit of a 2-base. He could go for some sort of 2-base timing with this as he takes his third base. Could possibly play defensively, but I feel like his composition right now, pretty strong. He's getting the Widow Mines, and maybe he could go for some multi-prong aggression utilizing this drop play. But you know what? The other side effect of this, he's just now starting his 1-1.
Yeah, he's just not starting his 1-1, and that's kind of bad if you compare to the melee upgrades coming in. But 16 Roaches with Roach speed are about to enter, 20 are about to enter the field. That's enough to run over this third base at the moment. Yeah, there's Marauders, but there's only 4 of them. And there's 20 Roaches. If my math serves me correct, that's 4 Roaches to a Marauder. No, 5. 5.
I mean,
5.
Marauder's going to be pretty good sometimes. He's got the Hellbats for support. He's going to go for that forward pressure. There's no base on the right side, though, which is kind of interesting. The Hellbats are going to dive in towards that third. Not too many drones there for them to pick off, but at the same time, delaying the creep, I think, is really important. One thing to note, though, he's only got 1 medevac with this army, so he can't actually lift everything up to retreat. He's going to leave a lot behind him. 4 Hellbats and Marauder Marine. He's going to lose that for pretty much 2 creep tumors.
He needs to buy time right now. This drop needs to bring the army back. That's SjoW's ideal situation right now. The ideal scenario is come home, come defend, and it's working because the units know that it's not working. They've changed their mind. They're going to go down on assault, and this is problematic for SjoW because he doesn't have enough to defend this third base. At this moment, 8 Banelings have been morphed and 22 Zerglings are coming in. SjoW needs more time, and I don't think he's going to get it. He wants 1-1, he wants combat shield. How well are these mines going to hit? 2 roaches are going to detonate 1. Oh, he wastes 2 mines. There's too much here, surely too much.
Yeah, he's baited out a lot of those Widowmine hits. The SPs are going to try to repair that bunker, but the Roaches aren't even focused on that. They're getting right on top of the Bioforces. The Banelings are going to run in and say hello to these SCVs, able to shut that bunker down, no problem. He's going to just lift up his units and try to evacuate here. That 3rd command center is burning. At the same time, the depots were not lowered at the natural expansion. Zerglings are going to be able to run in straight to the main and try to get some more hits off. SjoW might be able to hold on to the main base area for now, but these SCVs all have to be pulled out of the natural to basically act as a human wall to try to stop them from getting into his base. And Rhett is doing a ton of damage, 140 supply to 64, Apollo.
That was a toilet tissue wall there that got sprayed with a water gun because it immediately disappeared. As we can see, this is just carnage. Everything's dying. SjoW's pulling all his SCVs off. Even if he manages to defend, he has no SCVs left, and the game's going to be over. He has nothing. It's down to 40 supply, and Rhett is going to equalize this series up. GG. Liquid Rhett takes map number 2. And we're going the distance. We're going to map number 3.
Pretty solid game. That was a game that Rhett needed as far as the setup goes. He didn't have to play quite as volatile of an opening as we saw in Neo Planet S. So I feel like that's what he needed. Get a bit of a refresher. He took a bit of damage from the Hellions. The Hellbats, though, he defended those, and those are really the powerhouse of the aggression. And despite killing off a few units, later upgrades hurt SjoW, as well as that 3rd command center. He never really got a big lead from the damage that he did, just kept things even. And, well, in an even situation, we saw Rhett take that game.
Yeah, I mean, as a Terran player, like we saw SjoW just accomplish there, well, not really accomplish, it's what he didn't accomplish, I suppose, is with these Hellbat drops coming in, it is okay to lose them as long as you get one that does the significant damage. But he never really hit a big blow. It was always 1 to 2 drones, maybe 3 there, then 1 here. And Rhett was like, all right, defend, kill. Like, that was his game plan. It was defend across and then just all of a sudden come out and finish the game. And unfortunately for SjoW, if he doesn't hinder his opponent's economy, like we saw in Neoplanet S, then, that roach count doubles, it triples, it quadruples, it keeps on going up and up and up. And that's where, we saw the biggest problem. He couldn't defend. And
I think another point that we brought up as his army was being chased away from the east side of the map was he only had the 1 medevac available for the Bioforce. Now, he tried to get Rhett to come back. He's like, okay, I'm going to drop into your main base. Imagine if he had 2 of those other medevacs that he lost earlier. He drops, those 4 Hellbats with the Marauders. Rhett has to do something about that. He can't just ignore that and just run straight to the 3rd base. Otherwise, he'll take a ton of damage. He has a much better chance, at least, of pulling Rhett back.
Yeah, I mean, if we look at the actual builds from SjoW, was Starport over Armory First a better decision? Did it really give him anything? He just slowed everything down, right? He didn't really use that Medivac efficiently. He didn't get a Viking or anything. So ultimately, his build was a little bit twisted there that slowed him down. So got to change things up if he wants to be able to get this win. If he does, then he could look at first place in this group, avoiding all those players I mentioned earlier. If not, then Liquid Rhett's going to take that title. We're about to find out who's going to grab it. Belshir Vestige is going to be this next map. Quite excited for this one. I really thought it would be 2-0 for Rhett. And now we're going into game 3. Can the Swede do it? Is he back? Is he back in Heart of the Swarm? Is he back to how he used to be?
Well, I mean, as you say, it's a little bit of questionable decision-making that we saw in the last game. We're going to have to find out. I mean, this is a map where you can play the macro game as Terran if you want. We can see the same exact style that he played on Star Station. However, he can still go for the more aggressive play that we saw in game number 1. There's a lot of options on Belshir Vestige. I will say, though, if Rhett wanted to be aggressive, this would be a map to do it. I don't quite think he's going to change it up too much, though. And, well, spawning in the top left position of this map, that is Belshir Vestige, we have our red Zerg player coming in for Team Liquid, currently tied 1-1 in this best of 3. It is Rhett.
King of Drones.
King of the Drones, and spawning in the bottom right position as his opponent, who took a pretty cheeky game number 1. From Team Property, our blue Terran, it is SjoW.
Well, let's find out if he can do it, Nathanias. That Coke, it's lost its lid.
He needs that caffeine, needs that sugar.
He needs that rush.
To propel him, man, it's getting late.
It is getting late here. But my parents always told me no caffeine after 10 p.m., Nathanias.
Did your parents play StarCraft, Apollo?
No.
There you have it right there.
There's the answer. That's where the truth lies.
Caffeine fuels the dreams of those who follow esports.
Actually, I've been working on a non-caffeine casting marathon. I haven't had any caffeine all day. No, actually, that's a lie, because I had a coffee with breakfast. But apart from that, that doesn't count. Coffee with breakfast doesn't count.
I don't know if you can. I don't know if you can swing that one. But
I can swing anything, man.
Good to know. But we have the Command Center first play here again from SjoW. This time he's kind of walled off his main base though, and it looks like Rhett could be going for an early gas. What do you think as far as the setup here goes? It's a bit of a greedy play going for the hatch gas pool.
Well, hatch gas pool, to a certain extent, yes, it's greedy versus one specific build. That's the 2 Rex. And, you know, he's taken that gamble that he hopes it's not coming. It's not an instant loss. It still is defendable, but it puts him in a bit of a worse position than he would do if he didn't have the gas first. But with going gas, he gets the Zergling speed really early, and it's going to be finished before the 6-minute mark here. It's going to be like around 5:30, which is quite fast. And that allows him to deny scouting from his opponent really early, because Zergling speed's there. He can't do anything, can't see anything. And then he has the option to be aggressive from this point. You said it yourself, you know, Belshir Vestige, definitely a map where we could see aggression from Red.
Yeah.
Especially if it's hidden well.
As a Terran player, it's so hard to wall off the natural area. Even something as simple as a big speedling attack. You just try to run in 20 or so, and there's only 2 or 3 Marines in a bunker because you're going straight for the Hellions after the expand. You know, either Zerglings get us around before your SCVs can get there in time. That's it. You could just lose your natural right there. Oftentimes, Terran players won't even have the supply depot set up in the main base, so it does look like SjoW will be building that. But you know, even having the natural forfeited very early on can cause a big problem. That bunker, it's not in the greatest position ever as far as Sim City goes until he gets some supply depots around it.
Yeah, and it's like you said, there's a lot of supply depots that have got to go there. Ideally, I don't mind 3rd command centers being put in the wall. It actually is not too bad, but we see a 2nd gas being taken by SjoW, so he's probably just going to maybe change his build-up, maybe go for the armory first, and then the starport this time. Just change it up, maybe make his build a little bit more lenient. But Red's taken a 3rd. This isn't a sign that he's not going to be aggressive. He definitely still can be. It really depends on when he gets back into gas. At this point, is the ideal time, if you want to all in, is to get back into gas, like any second now, just before Zergling speed finishes. And that's when you can start to add on a 2nd gas and continue from here on out. But maybe he doesn't. Maybe he's not doing it. Maybe he's just going to play normal.
It looks like he's just going to stay on drones. As I say that, he's actually going to start 4 Zerglings, 6. How many is he going to make is the real question. He did just start a bunch of drones. You have to wait for a couple of these injection cycles to wear off. And I feel like you would want to hit as soon as Zergling speed finished, though. If you were going to go for something like a speedling, a mass speedling attack. So, yeah, as you say, he's going to start a bunch more drones. 7 on the way. So Red is playing his King of Drone style. The fast speed, a little bit more of a defensive play. Just having to be able to be active on the map. And, you know, it's going to help him in terms of dealing with this. But, you know, interesting to mention, though, he did go for the starport before the armory again this game. Is he going to be able to make anything more happen than he was at the 2nd?
Yeah, he actually needs to. Like, if you open up starport instead of the armory, then you have to. And he's getting in there. 1 drone's gone down. He's got 2 drones dead. Not the highest drone kills, but he's got that starport down, so that medevac's going to be making its way across. There's 2 Hellions in the middle. But again, I mean...
Well, 2 Hellions isn't really what you want to deal with this. These
I know,
Zerglings are
right?
going to shove them back. You know, it takes 3 Hellion shots to kill a drone, especially since these Hellions are already weakened. He's going to have to bring them back to repair. Actually just loses 1. That 1 Hellion has like 5 hit points left, doing a little bit too much dancing around there. And, you know, he does have 2 extra Hellions that come out, but the harass is going to be a lot harder. He's going to be dropping 2 Hellions in with full health. One of them basically 1 shot away. But now we see the Hellbats come onto the field. Now we have additional medevacs coming. The 3rd command center going to be a little bit later again. He's building it straight at the 3rd, though. Double evolution chamber and roaches on the way for Rhett. How do you feel about holding this?
He's actually missed this. Hold on, I'll talk about that in a second, but he's missed these 3 Hellions. He didn't spot them until very, very late here. Look at that, they get right past. Ooh, if he focuses around the right Hellion, it's just 1 hit away.
Yeah, he's he still hasn't gotten the drones though, and that's a really big issue here because he can't advance too much. He can't take too many hits. He kind of needs to get the burst damage out there because taking a sustained fight when you already have one of your Hellions at so low health, boom, you're at 2. You have to wait for 2 full volleys to actually start killing drones. And another classic example of how this aggression is kind of stifled SjoW is he's getting the double engineering bay much later than his opponent's evolution chambers once again.
Yeah, he definitely here. And with this late upgrades, I mean, he's going to have units out on the field faster because he's obviously got the barracks down earlier. So he could do some damage. Like, he doesn't necessarily need upgrades to do damage. He can get damage done before and maybe hurt his opponent strong enough and hard enough. But we'll see if that's going to happen here, as he is going to attempt a bit of an assault here with these Medivacs. But I hope he does damage because we really haven't seen him. Unlike game number 1. Just hasn't hit that same strike.
And he's managed to get a couple of drones here so far, at least 4 it looks like. Nothing too crazy, but everything that he can get at this point he wants to take. He's down about 10 workers. You gotta consider though, he's Terran, he's got mules, so that's 4 SCVs worth of mineral mining per. And he's gonna drop into the main base. There's roaches and a queen waiting with open arms. Not gonna be able to do too much there. Rhett, he's kind of okay with losing a couple here and there, as long as he doesn't lose that critical mass of drones. And the Hellbats are going to get in the natural expansion mineral line, but he immediately pulls the drones away. It looks about maybe 4 or 5 drones die. A lot of them are weakened, and we could see maybe the medevac come in from the 3rd base area, but that's just kind of sitting there chilling, and the drones are going to go back to the natural. He's delaying mining time, though, so not the worst trade, since he is getting a couple of drones here and there.
Spire is down here by Rhett, and we should be looking for a 4th base taken kind of soon from him. But SjoW did take that 3rd command center very early on location. Like, it's right there, nice and early. He's mining from it. He's got a 20 supply lead. He's got a decent amount of SCVs because he was a little bit greedy with that 3rd base going down. Still hasn't landed a killing strike, though. He's looking for a couple more attempts.
Yeah, I think he's done a much better job this game of thinning out the Zerg.
Yeah.
As far as not overextending himself with the drops to the point where, a roach counterattack can win the game. So we do have the centrifugal hooks, that Spire that you mentioned, but 1-1's about to complete for SjoW. That medevac dropping the Hellions barely had any health to begin with, so this shot won't be able to do too much. But Hellbats in the 3rd base actually starting to dig away at this drone count, much better than some of the previous drops. And he's actually cleaning up all the Zerglings that are being sent to clean this as well, kind of kiting back. He's letting the Hellbat with the most health take all of the hits, and the Queen having to focus on the medevac. Wasn't able to chip in too much there, so a nice extra bit of damage done. The worker count getting closer and closer. I mean, at this point, SjoW doesn't really need any more SCVs, 72. He's kind of approaching that very comfortable number for a Terran player, since you do have the mules to help fill that income hole. But I mean, this is kind of an interesting position to be in for Red. As you said, SjoW a little bit ahead in supply. Our Mutalisk's going to be what he needs to bring him back into this game.
I'm looking at Rhett, and I'm like, why doesn't he have anything, really? He spent so much money on Overlords, and he's still making them. He's been at, I don't know if any Zerg players, maybe some good Zerg players out there notice this as well, but he's been at 200 supply for ages, for no reason. And he keeps on building Overlords. It's kind of a habit, when you're playing StarCraft, is he like, all right, then, I'm going to build some drones, build some attacking units, get a couple of Overlords, build some drones, build some attacking units, build some Overlords. He keeps on making Overlords, and it's one of the main reasons why he just doesn't have anything. I mean, he's got a small amount of units, but nothing really powerful. And if you look at army supply difference, it's probably heavily in favor of SjoW at this point, as he makes a movement out here. And this can be dangerous for Rhett to deal with. I mean, look at the amount of Medivacs there, the Hellbats, the 1-1 upgrades, 2-2 coming in. A bit of a clear up of creep spread more so than anything there from SjoW.
Yeah, and another interesting thing to note is when you're going for this bio Hellbat composition, it's very, in taking engagements, very straightforward. Not as much positional play required as the Widow Mine tactics. You kind of just throw the Marauders and the Hellbats in front, let them eat all the Banelings, and as long as you have your Marines behind the fight, with a pretty reasonable number of them, you can shoot through so many of these units. The Mutalisk's still going to dive into the main base, picking off a reactor. He's doing some nice harass, but this army, does he have an answer for it, Apollo? Widow Mines are actually now being mixed into this as well.
Yeah, I mean, Rhett's gone up to 32 Overlords. That's more than enough than you need. That's 260 supply or something. But here comes an attack in for Rhett. And is he going to be able to do this? The Widow Mine get some good hits. But SjoW, with the amount of units he still has, and if he reinforces this properly, he's going to keep on attacking here. Rhett could be in trouble. He's got a lot of Zerglings. I mean, yeah, a lot of Zerglings coming in. 2-2 is about to finish, though. That, ideally, those units should be going to the main base. The reinforcements for his natural going towards the fourth. And if he does that properly, then he actually can bring Rhett down here. The medivacs are going off to the main base perfect. If he has enough Marines, enough units, enough production, he needs to get to the fourth.
Maybe he's trying to add on additional barracks as well, realizing that it's one of the weaknesses of the going for the bio hellback composition is you don't have as much anti-air. But that drop, double drop landing in the main base right now. He's going to try to put on some damage. There's a lot of Zerglings active on the field. The Mutalisks, of course, were out having that map presence as well. So with the 2-2 finishing up, he's going to be able to shoot through a decent number of these Zerglings. Medevac heal was a bit too much though. The real question, though, is he should have been able to spot the Hive starting from that position as well, from the drop.
Yeah, he's got a lot of time before Ultralisk come in, and even if they do, he's already got quite a few Marauders, he's got a couple of Tech Labs down. So right now, all that SjoW needs to focus on is dropping the left side, attacking the right side. It's very simple on this map, what kind of technique you need to do. But all that thought, he needs to defend this. He's got 4 Marines. Oh, we could see quite a few SCV deaths here.
Well, these Banelings managed to take that bunker out as well. A lot of SCVs clump. The Marines are here to save the day, though, and not too many of them will fall. So solid defense here from SjoW. A couple of the Marines reinforcing, though, going to get caught outside the natural expansion. Those Zerglings are kind of going into like a bit of a dirt position. They weren't really doing too much between those supply depots. So SjoW, he's getting some good trades, and with that +3 on the way, the Hive's not even done yet. He's going to have a very nice window of opportunity with these upgrades. The Zerglings are going to get on top of these units, but that Hellbat in there mixing in so much extra damage versus the Zerglings. The Mutalisks getting a bit of damage though on these Medevacs. Rhett's taking as much as he can, but SjoW, he's holding strong.
Yeah, man, the Marines are going drrrr, like shooting down all those Zerglings just like that. You see how many died immediately because of the +2 attack, and all of a sudden now, SjoW has a really good advantage. He's got another drop in the main. He's got his main army on the right-hand side. He's doing what he needs to do. The Planetary Fortress is established. 11 Marines at a time. 3-3 on the way. I think SjoW can win this game. I actually believe he can do it now. He's at a great advantageous position, and if he breaks that hatchery, he wins the game.
And at the same time, he actually just killed off the Ultralisk Cavern that was morphing in. He's pressing in towards this fourth base, as you stated. The Mutalisks are going to come in. He's going to try to use the Banelings as well. Just clean up all the Marines, and then let the Marauders get cleaned up by the Mutalisks. There's not really too much anti-air here. There's a Planetary Fortress. Ooh, the Widowmine's actually getting some great hits off on these Mutalisks, but with the regeneration, it's not quite enough. The only thing is he can kind of force an engagement, and these Marines actually getting on top of these drones in the main. SjoW is just everywhere right now and doing a great job at defending at the same time.
That's all he needs to do is keep up what he's doing. Just keep on doing the same thing. Gather all the units on this side, drop the main base, attack the right. That's the pattern, that's the rhythm he needs to get into, and he could bring this game down. The problem is, if Ultralisk come out and the upgrades connect, that's when things start to go a little bit sour. But he's got such a large window to hit this. I'd be very surprised if he wasn't able to win this game now. The distractions on the left-hand side, the main force on the right, and he's going to break this hatchery. Rhett's income is about to just drop right down here, and he's going for a counterattack. He knows he's in trouble too.
Well, the problem is even if he killed this army, though, you look, Rhett, he's not maxed. 141 supply. He can't really produce too much. That Ultralisk Cavern that was sniped off, it's just about to finish now that it was rebuilt, but there's so much money in the bank for SjoW, almost making over 2,000 minerals, 1,500 gas. He can replace this army as much as he needs to, at least, versus the economy that's available for Rhett.
Yeah, this is looking really, really good for SjoW now. He's just marching forward, going to pick off the third base. He's got a few Mutalisks to deal with. He's got a turret there. He's got Widowmines, Marines in the main base. Not a huge problem, but the Swedish player from Team Property is about to bring down a WCS Europe Premier League player here. This is a massive victory for him considering he's not even in the WCS League at all. He's not in Challenger League, he's not in Premier League. GG, SjoW's able to do it, taking him down 2 wins to 1, and I consider that a victory for the Swedish player there.